Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Never interrupt a quiet man. He's probably 10 steps ahead of you, pretending to be slow. They say intelligence announces itself loudly. Sigma males laugh at that lie. Because while the world rushes to prove how smart it is, the Sigma quietly proves it wrong. In fact, studies show that the most intelligent people often downplay their abilities, not out of insecurity, but out of strategy. And Sigma males? They've turned that into an art form. They'll sit in a room full of loud talkers, nodding politely, maybe even asking a few dumb questions. You'd think they're lost, until you realize they've just made everyone reveal their hand without saying a single clever word. It's not stupidity, it's social chess. And by the time others realize they've underestimated him, the Sigma has already mapped out every motive, weakness, and hidden agenda in the room. So if you've ever thought a Sigma male looked a little too quiet, too detached, or even a bit clueless, good. That's exactly how he wants you to think. Because pretending to be dumb, that's his smartest move yet. Number 1. They use dumb moments to reset social power. They use dumb moments to reset social power. And it's one of the smartest psychological tricks Sigma males ever pull. When they sense that someone's ego is inflating or trying to dominate the dynamic, they'll intentionally play it slow. They might pretend not to understand something or act a little unsure, giving the other person a false sense of superiority. And the moment that person feels like they've won, they relax. That's when the Sigma subtly takes back control, not through confrontation, but through quiet precision. It's a strange paradox. Pretending to lose allows them to win. Most people fight to prove they're the smartest, which only feeds the other person's pride. Sigma males don't bother with that kind of ego wrestling. They let others believe they've outsmarted them because they know how addictive that feeling of victory can be. Once someone thinks they've got the upper hand, they stop being careful. Their words loosen, their confidence swells, and they start exposing what they'd normally hide. That's when the Sigma collects real power. Information, leverage, insight. Sigma males understand that dominance doesn't come from constant assertion. It comes from emotional control. They never let arrogance drag them into a verbal battle. They'd rather let you win the conversation if it means they win the outcome. This calm detachment often confuses people. Some take it as weakness, but it's actually the purest form of self-control. The ability to let go of ego and focus entirely on long-term positioning. What makes this even more brilliant is how effortless it looks. A Sigma male doesn't announce he's backing off strategically. He just shrugs, smiles, and lets you talk. You feel like you've outsmarted him, but in truth, he's just repositioned himself silently in the power hierarchy. By the time you realize he's the one quietly steering things, it's already too late. That's why Sigma males never panic when others underestimate them. They know the temporary illusion of inferiority gives them permanent leverage. Acting dumb isn't submission, it's disarming. It lowers defenses, exposes arrogance, and gives the Sigma free access to observe and redirect the situation exactly how he wants it. It's not manipulation, it's mastery, the calm, patient art of letting the proud trip over their own need to feel superior. Number 2. They hide sharpness in humility. They hide their sharpness in humility. And that's what makes Sigma males so dangerously effective. They don't walk around showing how clever they are, because they understand that true intelligence doesn't need an audience. They'd rather stay underestimated while they quietly move with precision. Their humility isn't a weakness, it's a shield. It keeps people relaxed, unguarded, and blind to just how calculated the Sigma really is. Most people think intelligence must be loud, full of confidence and spotlight energy. But the Sigma knows the real kind is quiet, unassuming, and often invisible until it strikes. When they downplay their brilliance, it's not because they doubt it. It's because they've outgrown the need for validation. They don't crave being called smart. They crave understanding the world deeply and using that knowledge effectively. There's no ego in their intelligence, and that's why it works so well. People with big egos need to flaunt what they know, and in doing so, they expose their weaknesses. Sigma males don't. They let others talk, boast, and reveal themselves while they absorb everything silently. By the time anyone realizes the Sigma is actually the sharpest mind in the room, the moment to challenge him has already passed. Their humility also makes them disarmingly likable. They don't threaten others' pride, so people lower their guard around them. They'll share secrets, opinions, and unfiltered emotions because they think the Sigma doesn't mind or isn't competing. But in truth, he's cataloging everything. He's learning what motivates people, what scares them, what drives them. And he does it without ever needing to dominate the conversation. That's what makes his intelligence different. It's not about performance, it's about quiet efficiency. The Sigma's calm and grounded presence makes him hard to read. He doesn't need to prove he's right. He knows time will do that for him. He lets outcomes speak, not words. While others are busy chasing recognition, he's building results. And when those results finally appear, people look back and realize the one they overlooked was the one orchestrating everything the whole time. That's the beauty of the Sigma's humble sharpness. It's power disguised as modesty. They don't talk about what they can do. They simply do it so well that the world can't ignore it once it's done. Number 3. They understand that control is better than recognition. They understand that control is better than recognition. And that's what separates Sigma males from everyone else chasing attention. While most people crave being seen, praised, or labeled as successful, the Sigma operates on a completely different wavelength. He doesn't need the spotlight to feel powerful. He needs influence. To him, being publicly admired means nothing if he's not the one quietly steering outcomes behind the curtain. He's not driven by applause. He's driven by precision, by knowing that he can shape situations without ever being exposed as the one pulling the strings. Sigma males know recognition is a trap. The moment you start chasing it, you become predictable. You start adjusting your actions to please others instead of doing what's effective. That's why the Sigma avoids it. He's not addicted to visibility. He's addicted to impact. When people fight for credit, he's already thinking 2 steps ahead, planning the next move while everyone else is distracted by ego battles. The irony is that this invisibility gives him more control than those shouting for attention ever have. He knows that true power comes from being the quiet force that decides how things unfold. While others compete to be seen as leaders, the Sigma often ends up being the silent architect who makes leaders look good. His calm detachment from recognition allows him to stay objective. He doesn't need to prove anything, so his decisions are sharper, more strategic, and less emotional. This is why he often wins, without anyone realizing he was even competing. To the Sigma, attention is noise. Control is clarity. He'd rather have quiet authority than loud approval. And that's why people often underestimate his reach. He doesn't post about his plans, brag about his wins, or seek validation from peers. But somehow, things always seem to move in his favor. That's not luck. That's silent influence. This mindset frees him from the exhausting race most people run, the one for approval, validation, and status. The Sigma's reward isn't recognition, it's mastery. It's knowing he can move through any environment, shape outcomes subtly, and still remain unbothered by whether anyone notices. In a world obsessed with being seen, the Sigma male has mastered the one thing everyone overlooks: the quiet, untouchable power of control. Number 4. They let people expose themselves. First, Sigma males let people expose themselves first because they understand human nature better than most. When people feel smarter, stronger, or more in control, they start to relax. And when they relax, they reveal things they normally hide. The Sigma male knows this psychological truth and uses it to his quiet advantage. He doesn't rush to prove he's intelligent or capable. Instead, he steps back, observes, and lets others show who they really are. By appearing less aware or even slightly detached, he invites people to talk freely, brag a little, and unknowingly hand him all the information he needs to read them perfectly. This isn't manipulation. It's observation. Sigma males understand that most people wear masks, perform for approval, and adjust their behavior based on who's watching. But once they think they're dealing with someone beneath them, the performance fades. The Sigma male uses that moment of arrogance as a diagnostic test. He studies how people treat someone they think they don't need to impress, because that's when their real character surfaces. It tells him everything, their values, insecurities, and motives, without a single question asked. What makes this approach powerful is how calm and effortless it looks. While others waste energy trying to decode people through arguments or debates, the Sigma does it through silence. He doesn't need confrontation, he needs clarity. Every word someone speaks in those unguarded moments is data, and he collects it all quietly. Later, when he decides how to deal with that person, he's already 10 steps ahead, because he knows exactly who he's dealing with beneath the surface. People often mistake this calm observation for passivity or shyness, but it's the opposite. The Sigma male isn't quiet because he has nothing to say. He's quiet because he's measuring what's true, and when he finally speaks or acts, it's with surgical accuracy. That's why he rarely gets played. He gives people just enough space to show their real intentions before deciding how to handle them. To him, pretending to be less aware isn't a weakness. It's a tool of psychological precision. While everyone else is busy performing, he's busy decoding, and that's why the Sigma male always ends up one move ahead. Number 5. They hide genius behind bored eyes. Sigma males hide their genius behind bored eyes because they've learned that showing too much intelligence too early only creates tension, not understanding. They've mastered the art of looking indifferent, not because they're pretending to be detached, but because they truly are unimpressed by surface-level thinking and empty noise. Their silence and calm expression often get mistaken for disinterest, but in reality, that's when they're most alert. They're observing, analyzing, and quietly connecting dots that others don't even see. Their bored look isn't apathy. It's the face of someone whose mind is running 1,000 miles ahead of the conversation. Sigma males don't flaunt their intellect because they understand how easily it can intimidate or alienate people. They've seen how quick others are to turn defensive or competitive when someone outsmarts them. Instead of feeding that insecurity, the Sigma lets others feel comfortable, even superior. It's a social shield. It protects his peace and gives him space to think freely without the distraction of unnecessary ego battles. He doesn't need to prove he's smart. He just needs to stay unbothered. Their calm, detached energy also keeps them unpredictable. When you can't tell what a Sigma male is thinking, you can't prepare for what he's about to do. His brilliance isn't loud. It's hidden in how effortlessly he sees through people, how easily he spots inconsistencies, and how quickly he understands complex dynamics without ever making a scene. That quiet, mental sharpness allows him to navigate life with precision, while others get tangled in their need to be noticed. Even when the Sigma knows he's the most capable person in the room, he'll rarely show it. He prefers to let his results speak when it matters, rather than waste time proving his intelligence to those who can't comprehend it. This understated confidence is what makes him so magnetic and mysterious. He gives nothing away, yet somehow commands attention without trying. His genius doesn't need a spotlight because it's not built on performance, it's built on depth. To him, brilliance that needs to be displayed isn't real intelligence, so he hides it behind those bored eyes, not out of pride, but because the world's noise doesn't deserve access to that level of clarity. Number 6. They know intelligence isn't measured by words. Sigma males know that real intelligence isn't about how much you talk, it's about what you do with what you know. They've seen too many people equate eloquence with brilliance, and they find it amusing. Words can be dressed up to sound smart, but results can't lie. While others use big vocabulary and complicated language to sound impressive, the Sigma male focuses on clarity, accuracy, and action. He doesn't chase the appearance of intelligence. He values the effect of it. If something doesn't lead to meaningful change or a smart outcome, it's just noise to him. He thinks in moves, not speeches. Like a chess player, every action he takes is deliberate and timed. He doesn't waste energy explaining himself to people who won't understand, nor does he try to prove how deep his thinking goes. He'd rather keep it short, make the right move, and let the outcome speak louder than any argument ever could. That's what sets him apart. He measures intelligence by effectiveness, not expression. In his world, execution is the ultimate proof of understanding. People often mistake his quietness for a lack of ideas, but the opposite is true. He simply doesn't see the point of performing intelligence for approval. He knows that the loudest in the room are often masking uncertainty. So, he lets them talk. While they explain theories and show off their mental gymnastics, he's already working on a solution that will render all that talking irrelevant. That's why Sigma males tend to achieve more while saying less. Their focus is on the result, not the recognition. What makes this approach even more powerful is its calmness. Sigma males don't rush to respond because they know intelligence isn't a contest. They pause, process, and then act. And that pause often holds more weight than 1,000 clever words. They understand that real intellect is not about impressing others, it's about mastering yourself and your environment. Their quiet, precise way of thinking might not grab attention instantly, but it always leaves a mark in the end. In a world obsessed with talking smart, the Sigma male's brilliance lies in doing smart. And that's why his silence often speaks louder than anyone else's words. Number 7. They don't correct fools. They observe them. Sigma males don't correct fools because they understand something most people never learn. Arguing with ignorance is a trap. It drains your time, your peace, and your focus, while the other person stays exactly where they are. They've realized that some people don't want to understand. They just want to win the argument. So instead of wasting their energy trying to educate those who aren't ready to learn, Sigma males step back and let reality do the teaching. They know experience is a better instructor than any debate. It's not arrogance, it's emotional intelligence. Sigma males value mental clarity, and arguing with foolishness muddies the water. They'd rather stay silent and let people expose themselves through their own words. When someone speaks from ignorance, all the Sigma has to do is listen. Every sentence becomes a self-reveal about their mindset, their limitations, and their lack of awareness. By saying nothing, the Sigma learns everything. His silence isn't agreement, it's analysis. They understand that fools crave reaction, not reason. The more you argue with them, the more you feed their need for attention. Sigma males refuse to play that game. They know the real power lies in emotional detachment, in staying calm while others destroy their own credibility. When a fool rants, the Sigma watches. When they mock, the Sigma stays composed. And when they finally collapse under the weight of their own nonsense, the Sigma simply moves on, unbothered and unscarred. This approach gives Sigma males an edge most people don't have. They conserve energy, stay emotionally grounded, and learn more by listening than others do by talking. Over time, their patience becomes their strength. They've learned that people who insist on being right will eventually collide with reality, and that collision teaches them more than any argument ever could. To the Sigma, silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. He doesn't need to correct everyone, he just needs to see who exposes themselves through their own behavior. By refusing to wrestle with foolishness, he keeps his peace intact and his focus sharp. While others exhaust themselves fighting to prove a point, the Sigma wins quietly, by observing, understanding, and letting life do the correcting. Number 8. They know that pretending to be clueless creates space. Sigma males know that pretending to be clueless creates space, the kind of space where people drop their guard and show their real selves. When others think you're not a threat, they stop performing. They stop filtering their words and start talking freely, often revealing things they'd normally protect. Sigma males understand this social dynamic better than most. They realize that being underestimated is a strategic advantage. It gives them time, access, and insight. By acting a little slow to catch on or slightly detached, they make people comfortable enough to expose what's beneath the surface. This isn't manipulation, it's psychological intelligence. Sigma males don't pretend to be clueless out of insecurity. They do it to study patterns. They know people reveal their truth when they feel superior. A person who believes they have the upper hand becomes careless with their words and transparent with their motives. The Sigma male lets them talk, all while quietly reading their intentions. Every unnecessary detail, every accidental admission becomes useful information. It's a form of silent strategy that turns human arrogance into an open book. Pretending not to understand also buys them emotional distance. While others rush to prove their knowledge or defend themselves, the Sigma sits back and observes. He doesn't need to correct anyone's assumptions because he knows time will expose what's real. By staying calm and unbothered, he keeps full control over the situation while others get tangled in their own overconfidence. That calm detachment allows him to think clearly and act precisely when it matters most. What makes this so powerful is that no one sees it coming. People mistake his quietness for confusion, his nods for agreement, and his lack of reaction for disinterest. But behind that calm exterior, the Sigma is gathering information, building understanding, and preparing his next move. By the time others realize he was never clueless, it's already too late. He's used everything they revealed to position himself exactly where he wants to be. Sigma males have mastered this subtle art because they know awareness doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes the smartest move is to look like you don't see what's happening, until it's time to act, and everyone suddenly realizes you saw everything all along. Number 9. They're masters of strategic ignorance. Sigma males are masters of what can only be called strategic ignorance, the art of knowing exactly what's happening, but pretending not to. They understand that knowledge is power, but revealing it too soon gives that power away. So they play their cards close to their chest. When they act unaware, it's not because they're lost, it's because they're calculating. They know that sometimes the smartest move isn't to show how much you know, but to make others wonder how much you don't. This deliberate ignorance keeps people guessing. Sigma males understand that the moment you reveal full awareness, others adjust their behavior. They become guarded, careful, and strategic themselves. But when you appear oblivious, people grow comfortable. They speak more freely, expose their plans, and underestimate your awareness. That's when the Sigma quietly gains leverage. He listens, watches, and collects the information he needs while maintaining the illusion of innocence or detachment. The secret behind this behavior is emotional control. Sigma males aren't reactive. Even when they see the truth clearly, a hidden agenda, a manipulation attempt, or a betrayal, they don't rush to expose it. They stay calm, letting others think their game is working. That patience gives the Sigma the upper hand. When he finally decides to act, it's not from impulse, but from complete understanding. He doesn't just know what to do, he knows when to do it. Strategic ignorance also protects their peace. Not every battle deserves attention, and not every truth needs to be spoken. Sigma males pick their fights with surgical precision. They know that constantly proving awareness only feeds ego-driven dynamics. By acting like they don't care or don't notice, they keep emotional control while everyone else gets tangled in petty drama. It's not denial, it's discipline. People often mistake this calm detachment for confusion or passivity, but that's exactly what the Sigma wants. The more others underestimate his awareness, the freer he becomes to move unseen and unhindered. His silence isn't ignorance, it's camouflage. His smirk isn't arrogance, it's confidence in his control. Sigma males have learned that pretending not to know can often be the smartest way to know everything, and that's why their quiet awareness always wins in the end. Number 10, they understand that real power is invisible. Sigma males understand that real power is invisible, the kind that doesn't need to be seen, announced, or validated. They know that the moment you start showing off your influence, you lose part of it, because the more visible your power is, the easier it is for others to target, challenge, or manipulate it. That's why Sigma males prefer to move in silence. They don't need applause or recognition. They'd rather hold control quietly while everyone else is distracted by appearances. Their power lies in their unpredictability. When people can't read your motives or gauge your reach, they can't prepare for you. Sigma males thrive in that space, the one where others underestimate them. Being underestimated gives them room to think, to act without resistance, and to move strategically. While others waste time defending their reputations or trying to look powerful, the Sigma focuses on outcomes. He doesn't need to convince anyone he's in control because the results always prove it eventually. They've also learned that attention is a form of vulnerability. The more eyes on you, the more expectations, judgments, and pressures you face. The Sigma male avoids that trap. He knows that power built on recognition is fragile. It depends on other people's approval. But power built on inner strength, clarity, and control, that's unshakable. He doesn't care about being famous. He cares about being effective. His invisibility isn't just a tactic, it's a lifestyle. He moves quietly, builds silently, and strikes only when necessary. People often confuse his lack of visibility with lack of ambition, but they couldn't be more wrong. The Sigma doesn't want to be the center of attention. He wants to be the one who decides where the center is. He understands that influence doesn't always come from being on stage. Sometimes it comes from being the one who wrote the script. That's why Sigma males seem unbothered by social games or popularity contests. They don't play to be seen, they play to win, quietly, effectively, and without leaving fingerprints. Their power works best when no one can trace it, question it, or even realize it's there. Because to them, real power isn't about being noticed. It's about being untouchable. Number 11. They study people, not just topics. Sigma males study people, not just topics. And that's what makes their intelligence so uniquely effective. While others bury themselves in theories, statistics, or intellectual debates, the Sigma is watching human behavior. He's analyzing tone, timing, posture, and silence, the subtle details most people overlook. He knows that real-world intelligence isn't about memorizing facts, it's about understanding people. You can't influence what you don't understand. And that's why the Sigma pays attention to what lies beneath words. The micro-reactions, the pauses, the changes in energy that reveal more truth than any sentence ever could. He's not interested in how people want to appear. He's focused on what they actually are. When someone speaks, the Sigma listens to what they don't say. When someone smiles, he notices whether the eyes match the expression. Every social interaction to him is data, and he's quietly collecting it. This behavioral awareness gives him an almost eerie level of insight. He can sense when someone's lying, when someone's hiding pain, or when someone's pretending to be confident. That sensitivity isn't emotional weakness, it's precision. This people-reading ability gives Sigma males a quiet form of social power. They rarely get fooled or blindsided because they're always decoding motives long before they're made obvious. They understand that every person has a rhythm, emotional patterns, insecurities, and triggers, and once they've observed it, they can predict behavior with remarkable accuracy. That's why they often stay 2 steps ahead in relationships, business, and even casual interactions. They don't guess, they see. What makes this skill even more impressive is that it's self-taught. It's not something you learn in books or classrooms. It comes from a lifetime of watching, listening, and staying detached enough to notice what others miss. Sigma males don't study people to control them. They study people to navigate the world wisely. They know emotional intelligence is the bridge between logic and reality, and that's why they always seem unshakable in social situations. Nothing surprises them because they've already read the room before the first word was spoken. While others chase credentials to prove their intelligence, Sigma males prove theirs through awareness, the kind of quiet psychological sharpness no degree could ever measure. Number 12. They prefer wisdom over intelligence. Sigma males prefer wisdom over intelligence because they understand there's a huge difference between knowing things and understanding life. Intelligence can be sharp, loud, and competitive. It wants to win arguments, prove points, and show superiority. Wisdom doesn't care about any of that. It's quiet, composed, and deeply aware of timing. Sigma males have learned through experience that not every situation needs a display of intellect. Sometimes restraint is a higher form of brilliance than reaction. They've seen too many intelligent people lose opportunities, relationships, and peace because they couldn't resist showing how smart they were. That's why Sigmas value wisdom. It keeps their intelligence in check. To them, wisdom means knowing when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to simply walk away. It's about understanding that being right doesn't always make you effective. Sigma males don't waste energy trying to prove their mental strength to people who can't match it. They know that real control comes from discernment, choosing which battles are worth their mind and which ones deserve indifference. It's not about showing less intelligence. It's about using it with precision. Their wisdom also comes from their willingness to observe before acting. Instead of rushing into decisions just to look decisive, they wait, they read the environment, and they learn the hidden motives at play. This patience gives them clarity that pure intelligence often misses. They don't chase the thrill of being right in the moment. They aim to be effective in the long run. That's why their moves often look effortless. They only act when everything aligns. Sigma males also understand that intelligence without humility can become self-destructive. The smartest people can make the dumbest choices when their ego takes the lead. Wisdom grounds them. It reminds them that the goal isn't to dominate others intellectually, but to master themselves emotionally. That's what separates them from those who are merely clever. The Sigma doesn't just think well, he lives wisely. For them, the ultimate intelligence is self-control, the ability to stay calm, think clearly, and move strategically, even when provoked. They don't chase the illusion of being seen as brilliant. They practice the reality of being balanced, because the Sigma male knows that raw intelligence might open doors, but only wisdom knows which ones are worth walking through. At the end of the day, what makes Sigma males so fascinating isn't just their intelligence, it's how they use it. They've mastered the art of staying unreadable in a world that overshares, and that's what keeps them 10 steps ahead. They understand that intelligence isn't always about showing what you know, it's about knowing when not to show it. Their quietness isn't emptiness, it's strategy. Their calm eyes aren't disinterest. They're scanning, analyzing, calculating. Every silence, every nod, every "I don't know" is deliberate. While others compete to be noticed, the Sigma plays a different game, one where invisibility is power. He lets people underestimate him, mock him, or mistake him for slow, all while absorbing information they didn't mean to reveal. He pretends to be clueless, so others can expose their arrogance, and by the time they realize who they were really talking to, he's already moved beyond their reach. That's the brilliance of the Sigma. He never wastes intelligence on display. He invests it in outcomes. He knows wisdom is louder than words, patience is sharper than pride, and control is stronger than confrontation. The Sigma male has no interest in impressing anyone. He's too busy mastering himself. His intelligence isn't for applause, it's for precision. He moves through life like a quiet storm, subtle, composed, and completely in control of his narrative. And that's why, no matter how misunderstood or underestimated he may seem, he always ends up on top. Not because he shouted his worth, but because he calculated his way there. So, if you've ever mistaken a Sigma male's silence for weakness or his detachment for confusion, think again. He's not playing dumb, he's just playing differently. And in a world obsessed with being seen as smart, sometimes the smartest man is the one who stays unseen. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into the rare psychology of Sigma males, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what part hit you the most. Until next time, stay sharp, stay grounded, and never underestimate the quiet ones. They're the ones rewriting the rules while everyone else is busy talking.